Hi, my name is Bill DiGiulio, and I'd like to today discuss a concept for practicing called change running. This is a very useful practice technique for learning a song and really clarifying your ability to improvise over the changes. I'll explain how that works in detail in a minute, but first let me go over the process. Okay, there's two steps to this. We first take a song that we're going to practice, a set of changes. I'll use the changes to the song, the standard Stella by Starlight. And the process is this. The first requirement is that you can play the arpeggios, the four-note arpeggios is fine, to each of the chords in a fairly straightforward manner, up and down. So I'll do that first within the song. I'll announce the changes and just play the arpeggios. If you can't do that, you have to go through and make sure you find all the arpeggio tones first. So that's the first, this is why I'm going over it. This is the first step. Okay, I'll start that. First chord, E half diminished 7, or E minor 7 flat 5. A7, C minor 7, F7, F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat major 7, A flat 7, B flat major 7, E half diminished, A7, D minor 7, B flat minor 7, E flat 7, F major 7, E half diminished, A7, A half diminished, D7, G augmented 7th, C minor 7, A flat 7, B flat major 7, E half diminished, A7, D half diminished, G7, C half diminished, F7, B flat major 7, that's the preparatory section. Now, to get into the real change running, here's what I want to do. I'm going to be playing continuous eighth notes. So if I have one measure of a chord, I'm going to play 8 tones of the arpeggio. If I have 2 chords in one measure, that's going to be 2 beats for each chord usually, and that's going to be 4 tones of each of those arpeggios. So the idea is I want to voice lead through the arpeggio, through the chord changes. So in other words, instead of just playing the arpeggios up and down or in random number of notes or starting on the same tone every time, like the root for example, I'm going to, whatever note I end up on after playing my 8 notes or 4 notes, I have to find the nearest chord tone of the next chord and continue that arpeggio from there. I'll walk you through it as I go. So it's a little slow in the beginning if you're not comfortable with it, but it's an excellent exercise for learning the fretboard as well. So, and helping your ear as well for getting the changes under your, being able to hear through the song with the appropriate changes. I'll start from the beginning and talk you through it. First chord, E half diminished seventh, 8th notes of that, 8 notes of that. Now notice I end up on the D. The next chord is a A7. The next nearest chord tone is a C sharp. So I'll start from the C sharp and descend the A7 arpeggio. Next chord tone is a, now notice I ended up on a C sharp. The next chord tone is a C minor. So the nearest chord tone would be a C. 8 notes of that. Next chord is an F7. Nearest chord tone would be a C, and I'll descend from there. And notice I'm playing 8 notes of each one. Next chord tone is a F minor 7. I'll go down to the C and go from there. Next chord tone is a B flat, or chord is a B flat. So I'm at A flat now. I'll go up to B flat and descend. Next chord is an E flat major 7. I'm on D now. I'll go to E flat. Next chord is an A flat 7. I'll go to G flat and descend from there. Next chord is a B flat major 7. I'll go up to the B flat to the root. Next chord is an E diminished 7th, E half diminished 7th. I'll go up to the B flat and descend, and now I only want 4 notes of this. Next chord is an A7. I'm on D, I'll go down to the C sharp. Next chord is a D minor. I'll go to the D. 8 notes of that. Next chord is a B flat minor 7. I'm on C, I'll go up to the D flat. 4 notes of that. E flat 7. I'll go to the E flat. Next chord is in F major 7. I'm on G, I'll go to F. Next chord is E half diminished, 4 notes of that. Here's B flat. A7, 4 notes of that. Here's C sharp. Next chord is A half diminished. I'll go down to the C. Next chord is a D7. I'll go up to the C. next chord is my G augmented 7th. I'll go down to the B. And there's 2 bars of that, so I need 8 more tones. Now my next chord is a C minor. I'll get down to the C. 2 bars of that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My next chord is an A flat 7. I'll get down to the A flat. Oops, dominant 7th, sorry. 2 bars of that. 2 bars of B flat major 7. I'm on C now, I'll get down to the B flat. Next chord is an E half diminished, 1 measure. I'm on D. I'll go up to E. A7, 8 notes of that, C sharp. D half diminished. I'll go down to, I'm on E now, I'll go down to the D. Next chord is G7, I'll go down to the B. Next chord is C half diminished. I'm on D now, I'll go down to the C. Next chord is F7. I'll go up to the C. I'm on E flat now. Next chord is B flat major 7. I'll go down to the D. Now you may notice a couple things. Many times when I have to play the next arpeggio, I have more than one option. I can go up to the next chord tone, or I can go down to the next chord tone. So I may not do it the same way every time, which is actually a good thing, because of course in improvisation you want to let your ear dictate where the notes should go, not purely your knowledge of the neck. Okay, although that's you may be somewhat limited to that in the beginning, but this will start to free you up so that you're hearing the progression so clearly you'll go to notes that might not even be in your comfort zone and start to explore them. Okay, so that's the goal of change running, and I'll do it in a second without talking through it, so you'll see the process a little more clearly when it's all put together. But notice what the benefits of change running are. Number one, it reinforces your knowledge of the chords itself. Okay, first of all. Second of all, you're hearing the progression, and notice I'm not using any backing tracks, so you're just hearing the arpeggio tones, which is reinforcing the basic harmony of the song. And notice I'm simply using 7th chords. I'm not using extensions unless they're alterations, which are crucial to the song. Like, for example, the G augmented 7th is necessary because that note is in the melody, the augmented note in that chord. Another thing it does is it reinforces your knowledge of the arpeggios. And notice when you're soloing, you want to use your ear to connect chords. That's where the voice leading really helps, because you start to hear where the chord is going and hear where the chord is resolving into, not just playing an arpeggio shape because that's your most comfortable shape. You start to use your ear more to find what note you want, as opposed to just your limited knowledge of the arpeggios on the neck. And as you probably noticed, having more than one way of playing arpeggios for each chord is going to help tremendously in playing this, doing this exercise as well. Okay, so now I'll go through the exercise one time without speaking, using continuous eighth notes, so you hear what it sounds like when you're getting close to completion with it. Okay, so I'll go right through without any breaks this time. that would be one complete course of change running. Notice, like I said, one advantage is that since I can go in several different directions at the point of each chord change, I don't have to do the exercise exactly the same every time. By taking a different route through the arpeggios, I can find a different way of playing through that change, and sometimes forcing myself to reacquaint myself with arpeggios that I'm not terribly familiar with. So, because I'm only dealing with chord tones, I'm guaranteed that I'm going to be hearing the sound of the progression. That's the other good thing. This could be done in other ways, obviously, but by limiting yourself to just the 4-note arpeggios, you're guaranteed to eventually start to hear the sound of the chord and start to anticipate the chord changes melodically when you start playing over it. So I hope this has been of some help. If you have any further questions on this or points that need clarification, please put them in the comments, and please subscribe to the video and like it if you feel you've gotten something out of it. Again, my name is Bill DiGilio. Thanks very much.